So in today's video, we are going to be talking about how exactly do you manifest peace in your life. On yesterday's video,
This should be interesting. I'm experiencing peace right now, but how deep will this go?
a viewer left a comment saying that they have been practicing what I have been teaching for a month and they have seen no difference in their lives. Well,
That's to be expected, man. Only a few get to experience peace. It's a sad reality, man.
that's impossible because I've only been making videos for 2 weeks. But maybe he means he has been following other people and he's been doing what they've been saying and he hasn't been seeing any results. Well, I will be seeking to remedy that with this video, and anybody who follows the instructions in this video will see success, especially if you do it for a month straight. No doubt about that. Now, be warned, if you
It's actually real though, trust me. It works for me.
undertake this journey, as with many other things in life, things get worse before they get better. When you are a fat fuck and you're completely out of shape and you are
Man, being fat is awful. How do people get that fat? It's crazy, man.
out of breath by just climbing up a flight of stairs, well, when you're sitting at home on your couch going through your daily motions, you're comfortable. If you want to get in great shape, well, you're going to have to go to the gym. You're going to have to exercise. It's going to be incredibly uncomfortable. It's going to be painful even.
Man, he got that right. Working out is pain. That's why most people don't do it, man. They're already in pain when it comes to working, trying to get money. Adding another pain to the list? I don't know, man. People don't like pain, so no, people are not gonna work out. Most people. But some people, like me and you, we work out.
You're going to be sore. However, if you stick with it, on the other side of that pain is happiness, is bliss. You will get to a point where you enjoy working out, where you feel better.
You do, but then after a while it gets back to the monotonous of, I gotta work out again today. Oh well.
As a result of working out, and you feel better in general. The same is true.
But you do feel better after every workout, and then a cold shower. Feels real good.
When it comes to transforming anything, if you have an old house that is kind of breaking down but is for the most part livable, in order to transform that house into a beautiful updated dwelling space, you're going to have to tear down some walls. You're going to have to fork out some money. And you're going to have to spend time and energy, or at the very least pay somebody.
Money, man. Money, money, money.
To spend their time and energy in order to accomplish that. I think you get the point. If you undertake this journey, it is not going to be all smooth sailing. It is not going to be you start this process and then starting today, your life will get more and more peaceful every day. Now, you will begin to feel benefits of practicing these techniques immediately. However, expect chaos. I have an entire video explaining why it is when you begin to shift your energy.
Chaos comes every day. You can't escape chaos. You gotta learn to live with it and don't let it bother you.
Energetic frequency, you are going to experience chaos. But like I've just shown you with a couple of examples, that is not weird. That is not strange. It is consistent with the way everything in this universe works. So That said, let us begin. Now, first and foremost, you have to understand the external world, or what you perceive as the external world, is a projection of your mind. It is a reflection of your internal state. As within, so without. However, what you perceive as the external world is the solidified manifestation of the energetic state that you have been holding to consistently up until now. So you don't change your energetic state right now and see immediate transformation in your external world. There is a lag. It takes time for things to go from the metaphysical to the physical.
Time is something people don't have, bro. But you gotta have patience.
It takes time for your energy to solidify. And when you think about it, if that wasn't the case, assuming the laws of assumption, manifestation, and metaphysics are true, which they are, but assuming they are true, if that was the case, well, with every passing emotion that you would have and every thought that arose in your mind, you would see changes in the world around you. And that would be absolutely chaotic and insane. And so it makes perfect sense that to have a consistent experience of reality, it takes time and consistency and persistence and a high degree of energy, above all, for things to go from the...
That's just like everything in life. You gotta do it until you get it done. Patience is something people lack. So if you don't have patience, you will never have peace.
The spiritual realm to the physical realm, from the metaphysical to the physical. And so that is also why before you see any changes in your external world, in your physical world, this is going to take time, consistency, and conviction. Now that said, you can begin to feel the benefits of practicing these techniques immediately. And in fact, all manifestation, the process of bringing into the physical world anything you desire using the science of spirituality, will require you to feel as if the thing you desire is already within your possession mentally. So when it comes to manifesting peace,
That's true. You got to believe that you already have what you want and you'll have it eventually. But how long does it take for people? It's random for people, I'm guessing.
the approach is no different than manifesting money, a girlfriend, a material object, an opportunity, an experience, no different. You must first shift energetically to being in a state where you already have the thing that you desire mentally, spiritually. This is why your imagination is critical to all manifestations, including...
So in that case, artists should have the most peace in this world because they're always imagining, things that aren't there and always focused on art and drawing. So they should always be peaceful, in my experience.
manifesting a life of peace. So let's first consider, what exactly does it mean to be at peace? Well, to put it simply, it just means that nothing is bothering you. Everything is fine. You do not need anything.
The best feeling in the world is not needing anything. So good.
You do not want anything. Everything that you need and desire is already in your possession. That is what it means to be at peace. Let's say you butt heads with...
Not everything I feel peaceful and I don't have everything that I want. So you sure about that, bro?
With someone at work and now you're irritated because they offended you. Well, what would it take for you to go from being irritated to being at peace, i.e., nothing is bothering you? Well, for normal people, for unconscious people, for bots and people who are asleep, and I don't mean that offensively, most of us, including myself, have been bots for their entire lives, for the majority of
We're all bots, just different frequencies of bots.
their lives until they wake up. Well, most people, in order to get to a state of peace, they need to see the situation between them and their coworker change. They need to see and observe a change in the external world. That coworker starting to treat them better, apologizing, possibly operating differently, being fired, quitting their job, no longer being someone you have to interact with. That's what it takes for most people to be at peace, for them to feel as if justice has been served, for them to feel as if the wrongs that were committed against them have been atoned for, or at the very least, they are no longer a part of your day-to-day experience at your job because they were fired or they quit. That's what it would take for most people to be at peace if they found themselves in a situation like that.
True.
Which is why you can find many stories of people, and you've probably experienced this yourself, having somebody at work that you just have on the less extreme side, bad energy with. There's just like a weird vibe when you're around them. Ranging all the way to, I fucking hate this person. I can't even be in the same room as this person. And if I am forced
Never really hated someone before. Wonder what that feels like.
to, I am going to sit on the opposite side of the room. I am never going to make eye contact with them. I'm never going to talk to them. You have people who maintain that relationship, that kind of a relationship with that person for weeks, months, sometimes years. All because they do not see a change in the external. They don't see things becoming what they want it to be. That's how unconscious people operate. Now, let's look at how conscious people operate. People who understand that the universe is mental. Well, you would ask yourself, what would I need for this person to do? What would I need to occur for me to now be at peace with this person in this situation? You imagine that. For everyone, that would be different. Depends on the situation, depends on you, depends.
I am recording.
On the person and the circumstances. Whatever it is, first, you need to be able to identify that. Do you need them to say sorry? Do you need them to start treating you differently? Do you need them to start behaving differently? Imagine that that reality has come into existence. How does that make you feel?
How does that make you feel? Huh? People?
You should feel at peace, right? If
Exactly. Yeah.
that's really what's bothering you, and you imagine a situation where what you want to be reality for you to feel at peace, if you can imagine what that reality is and immerse yourself in it, even if you can only hold it for a few seconds, imagine that person walking up to you and saying, hey man, I just want to say I'm sorry. You know, we got off on the wrong foot and I was tripping. Can we just...
I've imagined that, but that never happens. They just disappear or pretend like it didn't happen. But I guess it's a different case with everyone because I'm at peace right now. So, yeah.
squash the beef. Sorry I said that thing to you. My bad, man. I just want us to be cool. Something along those lines. Just imagine that person right now saying that to you. Maybe it's not a coworker, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's an ex-girlfriend, maybe it's your parents. Doesn't fucking matter. Just imagine them saying something along those lines. You can tweak it to your specific situation. How does that make you feel? You should feel relaxed. You should feel at peace. Well, my friends, there you go. You just manifested peace. Now, the secret is to hold
Okay.
that state for as long as possible. You just got to hold that state. And in all reality, most of us don't walk around with the same bad feeling all day. Negativity, negative thoughts and feelings usually come in waves. So you might just be going about your business, right? Like when you're at work, if you have someone you don't like at work, you're not thinking about that person 24/7. There are instances when you have to interact with that person, or for whatever reason, the thought of that person arises, and in that moment, it irritates you. That is when you employ this mental exercise, imagining a reality.
He's right. You don't constantly think about someone unless you're insane. So yeah, when that time happens, that's when you focus on being peace, having a peaceful mind. And it should go away in about 10 seconds to a minute.
Where exactly what you want to be reality is reality. And then you adopt that feeling. Now, to prove to you that you can feel your imaginations all the time, I got this trick from Neville Goddard, so credit to him. I want you to
Who?
imagine that you're holding an orange. I want you to have just an orange sitting in your hand. Can you feel it? Can you feel the skin of the orange? How it has a little bit of
Can't do that right now. Drawing.
give, a little bit of squeeze. Now, I want you to imagine that that orange is now a tennis ball. Did you feel it shrink a little bit in size? Maybe you had a small orange and it grew. Do you feel the fuzziness of the tennis ball? Of course, you don't feel it the same way you would feel it if you had a literal tennis ball in your hand, but there is a difference, is there not, between when you were imagining an orange and a tennis ball? Now, imagine
Imagination.
that that tennis ball is a golf ball. You feel the dimples of the golf ball? You feel how hard it is, pause, and small?
Pause.
Now, let's do something that isn't physical. I want you to imagine a cockroach. We did a cockroach in the last video, so I was trying to think of something else.
Nah, this is where I'm ending it because I hate cockroaches. So, peace.